Growing up, I would watch both cable and public television shows. I moved around a lot, so sometimes we had cable and sometimes we didn't. I watched both Arthur and SpongeBob. I'm talking about public television kids channels. PBS usually comes to mind, right? Well, there was this channel called Cubo, and depending on the region I was living in the United States, it was either available or not. I grew up watching PBS for the most part, but for some reason I preferred Cubo. The off-brand PBS has some more interesting shows to me at least, and a charm unmatched by any public access channel. As a kid, I spent my entire day glued to television, so cartoons were my literal childhood. Many of the shows also aired on Telemundo's Cubo block, so I was familiar with them way before I found out about the channel. One of those shows was Jane and the Dragon, based on the book. My dad had dreamt up the whole thing, but apparently it's real and it's kinda weird. The show is based on a storybook by the same name, released in 1988 by British author Martin Bayton, and animated by Nelva, who worked on that one movie Rock and Rule, and What Up Productions, who are more notable for working on the special effects of Lord of the Rings. The animation, I'm not gonna lie, the animation looks mo-capped and low-res as hell. The show came out in 2005, but for something mo-capped, the movements feel stiff and unnatural. I thought the whole purpose of capturing motion was that you were capturing actual real human motion. Nothing about this really looks that natural.
The fuck are you looking at?
I studied animation for a bit, but I'm not an expert, especially when it comes to 3D. This just doesn't hold up to par even for shows of the same area. They did them dirty with the way they designed their faces. The story is about a lady in waiting that wanted to become a knight. One day the dragon kidnapped the prince, and with hope of slaying the dragon, she went to retrieve the prince, but she ends up befriending the 300-year-old dragon in the process, as stated by the catchy theme song. This is one of the reasons I remember the show, is because of the catchy theme song. Kind of persisted with me and prevented me from forgetting the whole show. For characters, we have Jane, the female knight in training and the protagonist of the show. Then there's Dragon, the dragon. And then we have Smitty, the blacksmith, Pepper the cook, and excuse me, what's the gardener's name?
Right.
Excuse me, what?
Right.
Then we have Jester, the jester, nothing more to it. You think you're so freaking funny dancing around like an idiot. Nobody thinks you're funny, Jester. One day you're gonna piss off the wrong person with those jokes of yours. And he was murdered on live TV. Truly terrible. You can find the full clip on LiveLeak. Then there is the antagonist, Gunther. Wait, is that Loki? Okay, look, hold on. Tell me that is not Loki. What in the nine hells are you doing here? I see you had a rough start before you joined Marvel. Aside from the story, something I don't get. That this is supposed to be a castle, but I gotta be honest. This is the most broke and saddest looking kingdom I have ever seen. The castle seems pitiful, like that's all they could build. It's so depressing and sad. It lacks life. The whole world is claustrophobic. That's probably what this show was going for, just for simplicity's sake. But they have like 8 people working there. I don't think the kingdom is doing so well.
My concern is for Pepper. She works morning, noon, and night. If she could be allowed to do her duties without extra hardship.
Can you just hire some more cooks since his boss can control himself? And there's medieval bling bling boy without the bling, Prince Cubert. Also, fun fact, Cubert is the name of a saint from the Northumbrian church. But there's nothing holy about this Cubert. He is the most annoying character in the entire show. His snobby comments and disrespect. I think the king should teach his supreme gentleman how to act properly. He's royalty after all. You have to hold him to some standards, even in this tiny nation. I want Dragon to roast him like a pig. He'll probably feed the whole micro kingdom. I think the king is keeping him well fed just in case of a famine. I mean, it seems possible. I'm not even sure how Yvonne became a knight. He's corrupt and gets bribes. Why is he getting paid off by Gunther's dad? I thought squires trained for free. And this guy's getting scammed. He's paying top dollar for his training when this dude is incompetent as a knight. And Sir Ivan is into some weird stuff. He's obsessed with weapons and probably into some BDSM. And whatever this is. Sir Theodore is the most competent out of the knights in the whole Capernaum kingdom. He's Jane's mentor and he's pretty good at it. I think he's the only one that has been defending the kingdom this whole time. I'm surprised it hasn't fallen yet. This dude's power level must be insane. I like how the show's trying to build up lore as Jane helps Dragon learn more about himself via runes in his cave. Dragon is the last of his kind. He's probably trying to find some closure on what happened to his lineage. It must be tough being the last. I'm not the last human, but I'll probably end my family's lineage, just like Dragon. The lore is dope, but it's not expanded on too much. It just kind of stagnates at that point. The show's plot is pretty basic. Each episode tries to teach you a moral, like helping out and not lying. Pretty basic stuff, and the theme is mixed in with the adventures. Honestly, the show teaches pretty decent values to kids. Now, watching it, the pacing is pretty slow, which is a contrast to the dizzying pace of the newer kids shows. God, whenever I catch a glimpse of a new show, like a new kids show, my freaking head hurts. Too much stuff going on at the same time. The reason I made this video is because I see that there's barely any talk about it. This is a decent show even for its time, but it seems many people have pushed it into the deepest recesses of their mind, opting to forget about it completely, ultimately blocking their memories of it ever existing. This isn't meant to be a review, but more of a retrospect of a long buried part of our childhood, only recalling it as a strange and puzzling fever dream. Anyways, dope show, see ya.